For this video, we are revisiting a list that I shared earlier in the week, and this is the Ashe Frostbite list. We're going to be following the same format we've been doing for most of this week, which is we're going to jump on the ladder, we're going to play 2 games, win or lose, and we're hoping to catch at least 1 win here. It's so funny because when I shared that list earlier in the week, it was very, very successful for me. I was running into a lot of the Shadow Isles lists. This looks good. And I think this deck is very well positioned against them, specifically because of Reckoning. However, for the last like 2 days, the majority of my opponents have been Karma Control. This list does not do well against Karma Control. Just not really at all. Especially the Shadow Isles variant that has like a bajillion ways to gain health and interrupt your flow. So it has waned a bit in power level. They have no champions. They're just going to be straight aggro here, which I do find to be quite a bit interesting. So I think we do this. We're fine with trading a hawk for a spider, and we're actually, even though this is also a 1-drop, getting rid of the fearsome unit is pretty relevant.
I'll protect the villages.
You could let this go and then play this so that maybe they block this instead and you save the 3-1 because of the quick strike, but
we march as one,
at the end of the day, having something with the 3 attack power is still relevant. If they block here, we've got the Brittle Steel. Yeah, I was not expecting the block. Might even see a 1-drop come down as well. For them to maybe Battlecaster. We have Ashe into a buffed Assessor. So Assessor will be able to draw some cards. So we're kind of okay with body blocking a few things here if necessary. Alright, they're thinking. Which is interesting because with only 1 mana, unless they've got, you know, 2 or 3 1-drops and they're trying to consider which one is the best one here for an open attack situation, it's a peculiar spot for them to be hung up, but we won't judge. Maybe they're not deciding at all. Maybe their cat caught on fire. Maybe they got hit with the old Rhea. Alright, another drummer here. We likely just want to develop Ashe, save the 1 spell mana for a Brittle Steel block.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
And then again, set up for an Assessor.
No backing down.
For the Empire!
So we could try to save this, but on the off chance that they have like a Brothers Bond or something where they're trying to catch us here, I think saving the Brittle Steel to keep Ashe alive is far more relevant, because we want Ashe not only for attacking next round, but to draw us more cards. Because we really do want to just be body blocking going forward, I think. We are going to take 7 this turn, at a minimum. Alright, so there is indeed the Brothers Bond. So I said at a minimum, now we're taking even more. It's a very good turn for them. Oh man, so much greed that we could pull off here, but Yeah, I think we do this. So the concern here is mostly that if they have some sort of combat trick and they kill our Ashe, that's one less card we're drawing from Assessor. But the reality is if they do get rid of our Ashe, then we just pivot from playing Assessor this turn to developing these and banking the one spell mana, and then we play Assessor next turn. Assessor would still ultimately draw us the likely 2 cards there. We can also just do this.
Right. Strike now.
And then still develop one of these. Wow.
Continue without me.
The world awaits! Forward!
And they didn't play anything. They banked their 3.
First big mission.
All the world on one arrow.
Defend the Empire!
Time to go.
Little concerned because that means they might just be sitting on burn.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
So like 2 decimates puts us pretty close.
You earn the
So we're gonna
right
go ahead
to
and
call
do this.
themselves Trifarian.
Just draw a bunch of cards.
Explosives primed.
We want to do this very specifically, I think. We want this to have the quick attack, I think.
To victory!
You're mine.
So this is enough to threaten lethal.
Guide me.
With them being at 14, they do have 2 cards in hand. We've got the elixir. They have 1 card left to try to shut us down. Could be another mystic shot. Alright, it is. So we were right. We put him on the burn. So the bad news is it's not lethal. The good news is they're out of cards. They're at 3. And we are going to just draw
Only the finest serve.
like all the cards.
Few earn the right to call themselves Trifarian.
So I think we're good. Even if they had like a pair of decimates, it's not enough to get it done. We're going to go with the open attack next turn with plenty of bodies. Our resources are kind of boundless at this point.
Swiftly now.
Yeah. Alright, so we get a win. That's kind of what the deck is supposed to do, give you those value trades. It can get a little bit hairy against that particular list because we don't have great ways to gain health. So, you know, if they get you low and they can finish you with burn, they will steal a victory. If you can just focus on trying to prioritize keeping their board locked down, you can usually outrace them because you have so many things that hit for 5 or more. That being said, we're going to jump into another game and just pray we're not going to run into Karma Control. Because like I said, the Karma Control lists are a very bad matchup for us. Got the visual glitch, but I see Demacia and Channels. Oh, Fiora and Garen. I think this is a control player, actually. Yeah, we'll keep it. I feel like I played against them on stream the other night. And I was expecting it to be a mid-range list, but it's actually very close to my Shadow Isles Demacia control list. I expect them to pass because, again, they're really on control and they don't usually care about getting rid of my bird. They want to use this to trade into something better. But the joke's on them. we don't have anything better. Our hand is a bit clunky against a control opponent here.
Taste the glory!
I don't think we want to use a combat trick. I mean, we could have kept one of these alive, but again, Omen Hawks are pretty low value. We were just trying to bait them.
Eat up, Fred!
Yeah, I think we let this go as well.
I need just a
Maybe we let that go and we just develop this. So a couple of different paths are potentially open to us here. We have this Reckoning. We could play it, but then they'll likely just answer with a blocker. We could just pass here, but then they could hit us with the open attack to trade next turn. Though we could just Brittle Steel whatever they do. The point here is we're trying to clear as much as possible. Next turn they do have the option of putting Garen on the board, but I think this is actually a pass turn, as weird as that sounds. I mean, it's that or you develop Ashe. I could see a strong case for Ashe as well. I mean, we do have the 7/5 buffed Ashe.
Feel the sizzle!
So again,
Can't fight on an empty
we
stomach.
do the Brittle Steel here. See if we can get them to invest even more. Well, they really did. They really went for it, huh?
remember me. I will unite the Freljord.
Again, we're back to that rather interesting dilemma where we'd love to play Reckoning. Like, we need to force damage in. Their board having went wide is a bit troublesome. And developing anything else here doesn't feel great. But the minute we play Reckoning, they just refill their board. I think that... I think this is another pass turn.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
All right. Now we'll bite. They have 3 more mana. They can potentially throw our way. With 5 total mana here, they could also save one of these with like a riposte. But even if they play a potential blocker here, in this case, they cycle that. This is likely a free attack. So we get to push the damage that we were ultimately looking for. Sadly, that's only our second Frostbite, though. We might have to double. We Frostbite at once, even if they play like a riposte afterwards. No, this is fine. We only need the one Frostbite.
The time is right. Strike now.
Don't think we do this because we want to be able to eat this next turn. This is a pretty tough matchup to navigate.
Swiftly now.
So bird plus combat trick can certainly try to shut down our Ashe.
My heart and
There's a
soul
Garen.
for Demacia.
Our Ashe will level up the minute we use another Frostbite effect. So
Faster than my arrow.
it's mostly annoying because when it comes back, I don't believe it's going to be buffed anymore.
Take flight! Knocked and ready.
3 cards left in hand. We'll just take the level up now.
Barbarossa, guide me.
Just to give ourselves another potential blocker. You don't want to do it to the Garen here because you want to try to bait them into swinging with Garen so that you can block with your Rhyme Fang and Harsh Winds.
In the name of our land.
Leave the target.
With only 2 mana, this should be successful. Like, even Radiant Strikes here aren't enough to really save them. And we get the surrender. I was gonna say, we Frostbite the Garen and then Ryan Fang hopefully eats it, and we would get our Ashe back. Yeah, that one was a bit of a nail-biter. This particular Ashe list is a list that you want to be proactive with. You get so many benefits because of your attack round, and the fact that a couple of times there we basically just passed is very uncommon. It's not usually the path with this particular list, but I felt like at those points in time it was better to try to set up the best reckoning possible, because at those stages in the game our hand size was pretty small and our board presence was pretty small. If we didn't get as much value as possible, they were going to hit a point where they would always have a flood of blockers, and even with our like on attack triggers we just couldn't overcome things, right? You need, with this list, you need to keep their board in check so that you can kind of predict exactly how they're going to assign their blockers. You know what Ashe is going to Frostbite, you know what you can challenge, you know like what you're assigning quick attack to, and the more options they have on their side of the board for blockers, the more uncertainty it creates in those combat situations. So it felt weird, but ultimately I think it was the right call. You want to dictate combat pretty much every round that you're attacking. So anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I don't have a sign off yet. So if you didn't listen to my rant at the end of the last video, I'm looking for potential sign off options. Again, for the Elder Scrolls Legends, it was always may you walk on warm sands. This time around, I don't know what it's going to be for Runeterra. So listen to those voice lines. Let's see what we can come up with. Anyway, I love you all. Thanks.